recording on this computer. All right. Hey guys. Oh, Olivia said we're all prepared for Radar's appearances. Radar is locked up and I just gave him and Diesel a cheese and bacon frozen treat. So we'll see how long that lasts. I don't know. Okay, guys, it's Power Plan. We have a whole new week in front of us. And I don't know, this is just my personality. I already feel like summer is slipping away and like start panicking. And I think like I'm out of time and that it's winter, like winter's going to hit next week. So I start like getting nervous about stuff. And then I was looking at my calendar this week and I was like, it's okay. We have a good solid couple weeks left of July. Like I wasn't even worried about July being over. I was just worried about, I don't know, it being cold and snowy already. So with that said, I hope you guys have your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 ready, a blank one or whatever it is that you use. I know not everyone uses the one from the back office. And your calendar, if you have it. I had to run and get mine. And then lastly, a second device if possible. I know I ask a lot of you on a Sunday night, but I do appreciate it. And I appreciate you being here. So first thing we're going to do is get logged into the cloud because we're going to check our rate of run. So this one, you're going to need your second device. You're going to need some way to check the cloud. So get yourself logged in. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay. So like I just said, we're halfway through July. So this is a pretty good time to see like what rate we're on to end the month at. And so we can decide if what we're doing is working, if we need to tweak something, you need to add something, need to rent an airplane with a banner behind it with my link on it, like whatever it is that we think the rate of run is going to show us we need to do. But what you want to do right there on your, excuse me, your very main page is scroll down. You got to get through all the trackers right now. Scroll down to where you see it says business snapshot. The gray bar says that. Click the arrow so that it drops down that whole menu for you. And then under qualifications, you're going to see current QV. Okay. You're going to take that dollar amount. I don't have my glasses on. Okay. You're going to take that dollar amount and you're going to divide it by 17 because today is the 17th of the month. We want to find out what you and your team have done on average daily so far this month. So now you're going to be looking at a much smaller number. But good news, we have 31 days this month. So you can now take the much smaller number and you're going to multiply that daily average by 31. So now the new big number, darn it, that you're looking at is what you are on track to end the month at. Now, it's not a guarantee. Don't anybody call me on August 1st to be like, you lied, I wasn't at that number. This is just based on your current rate of run. This just shows you if you keep moving at the pace you're going, that's where you'll most likely end up. Obviously, we have more auto ships to get through, things like that. There's a lot of things that could vary in the future from now to the end of the month, but this just gives you a really good guideline of where you've made it to and where you're headed. And I always like to use this number as a motivator, not something to depress me, not something to be like, oh my gosh, I'm lower than this or lower than that. And I also keep track of my rate of run on my desktop calendar. I know I've showed you guys that before in some of our like kickoff like the kickoff to the month videos, just because it helps me mentally know like, okay, here's what I wanted to do by now. Here's where I'm at. Here's the difference, like, am I ahead of schedule? Am I behind schedule? I'll be really honest. I'm behind. My team is very behind right now. But I can tell you from working with my team in the boot camps that we're running, while I know our volume isn't where it belongs, our activity is. And I know because I've owned a business now since I was 26 years old, that it ebbs and flows. Summer is a hard time. We are making it through a pandemic. We are entering a recession. So when you look at volume solely for your success or your goals, you're missing a really big piece of that if you're not looking at the activity. Because here's the thing, there's a lot of people that are going to keep focused on the volume and they're going to be like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's not working. Oh my gosh, I'm doing all this, nothing's happening. And they're going to quit. Like I've got a whole cloud office I can show you of people who gave up way too soon. But it's those of you that will stick to something like what we do on the Power Plan, stick to your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stick to your boot camp, stick to whatever your upline is telling you is the way to go. If you just get through the muck and the mud, we will come out the other end. Like everything that goes up must come down, right? Like it's just part of nature. But to me, I think that the thing to do is to stay focused on the activity and not the outcome. Lindsay says, amen. We're working on that daily. Activity is huge, which in turn will pay off. And it will. And you guys, in sales in general, Very rarely do you just wake up one day and go, I'm going to go sell an ink pen and go sell a bunch of them. Yeah, you'll probably sell one to your mom and your aunt and your cousin, maybe your neighbor, maybe a coworker, but then it kind of goes flat, right? Because you haven't talked to enough people about these amazing ink pens that you're selling, and you haven't used them enough, and you haven't shown them to enough people. And so maybe you go out and you start showing the neighbor that you've never talked to before about this ink pen. And now they think you're crazy because you just approached them about an ink pen. But they're going to get to know you over the next 6 months. They're going to see you mow your yard. They're going to see if you're going to invite them over for hot dogs and hamburgers. They're going to get to know you, and they're going to notice that that ink pen is in the kitchen. And then they're going to notice one day that ink pen was in your pocket when you were in the garage. And they're going to start to really believe, like, oh my God, they really do love this ink pen that they told me about. I thought they were crazy because of this ink pen, but they're really using it in their day. Now that I know them, and I know they haven't given us food poisoning, and they loaned us sugar one day when we were baking. Now that I trust them, I think I might want to try that ink pen that they told me about 6 months ago. You guys, it takes time. That's all there is to it. We're humans. We don't trust people. Like, on top of not regularly trusting people, a lot of us have trust issues. It makes it even worse. So you just have to live your life and let people get to know you, let people know, like, and trust you, and let them see that what you are talking about is not just something you're talking about on Facebook. It's not just something you talk about on a Saturday when a promo drops. It's something that you actually live every single day. And that's why we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's why we're always making sure we're consistent in our reach outs, showing up on our social media, staying on top of people's minds by being in our follow-ups. That's why it's so, so important. And I don't know where the ink pen came from. It just came out of my mouth. But, you know, I make up stories when we're on these things. All right. So you have your rate of run. Write that bad boy down so you know where you are and you know where you're headed. Shantae said, my team was very low last month, and this month is definitely an improvement. Good. Yes. And it'll just keep getting better because all the activity that they did, let me see, it's July, June, all the activity they did in May and June, nope, April and May, will keep bringing them up. Olivia says, one of my new customers came to me because she remembered me as the Thrive Girl. And you know what? That's the thing, you guys. So Olivia, how long have you been doing it? 6 years, 5 years, something like that, a long time. So this person may have seen Olivia as the Thrive Girl a while ago, but it wasn't that 5.5. So it wasn't that person's time, wasn't in their budget. We never know what somebody's dealing with. I mean, you guys all know you have your own social media, right? And your life looks phenomenal on social media, right? You're happy, you're healthy, you're building a business. But I know all of you on a personal level, and we're all living in some version of a little shit show, right? So same for the people you're talking to, everyone's living in that little version of something they're not sharing. So just because somebody wasn't ready, let's say 4 years ago when they saw Olivia, now that they are, what if Olivia had given up? What if Olivia had stopped talking about it because she thought no one was paying attention? Do you think Nike gives a rat's ass how many commercials, how many pop-up ads, how many magazine, what are those called? Advertisements? Do you think they care? No, they just keep showing up as Nike because they know one of these days you're going to need something, and they make it. Sheila says, I just got a sample request from someone I created an account for nearly 2 years ago. 2 years ago, you guys, this person just made an account. And how many of you, and that's so funny you say this, Sheila, because just earlier today I was going through my, I'll show you guys how to do this too. I was sorting my customers to, you know, try to find the customers who have never ordered. Oh, it's amazing how many customers I have under my, in my cloud that have never ordered. But if you forget about them, if you lose track of them, or you think, oh my gosh, they made an account in 2015, they're never going to, you know, if you lose track of them in the moment right here where Sheila just got a sample request, that's not going to happen. So Sheila has stayed in front of this person, maybe reached out to this person, maybe did a poll in her, I don't know how she did it. But the fact is she kept moving forward and let people catch up to her, right? So don't hold yourself back for people ever for any reason. You keep going forward, and the people who are meant to catch up to you will catch up to you. I am way off the power plan. Let me get back in my seat. Okay, so we've got our rate of run. Let's look at the calendar. I really should have cleaned my desk before this. Okay, so today's the 17th, which means we have the 20th and the 25th coming up. And I'm going to go ahead and harp on both of those dates because the 25th is next Monday, and I don't want to wait until next Sunday to remind you about the people on the 25th. So what we're going to do is we're going to get back in the cloud or stay in the cloud, depending on where you were. except this time we actually need to go to the drop down menu. We need to get all of our options. So from that one, you're going to click my team. You're going to click my customers. At the very top where it says customer number, customer name, email, scroll all the way as far as you can scroll to the right. You're going to see a column, a box that says next auto ship. Actually click that box, like not below it, not above it, the where the words are, where it says next auto ship, click those words twice. It's going to populate it for you by auto ship date. So you want to look now for anybody that has a 720 or a 725 auto ship, and you want to write their names down on your blank 54321 for Monday morning. Well, Monday, whenever. I do mine in the morning, but Monday, whenever, right? You want to make sure you're reaching out to them first thing Monday, that they're one of the first reach outs you do. Because if they're, especially if they're a Wednesday auto shipper, you got to get a conversation started tomorrow morning about what they did over the weekend or whatever it is that you talked about last time. Get some back and forth going and then say, hey, I just noticed your name popped up on my auto ship report for the 20th, and it looks like you got chocolate last time. Are we sticking with that, or do you want to try a different flavor? Or I remember last time we switched from regular to black label. How have you been doing with it? Are we going to do that again this month, or do you want to go back to regular? Like, always end with a question about their order, about what they've gotten. Not like, do you feel good? You still like it? Like, get specific about something on their order. You can even say, hey, you've been a Thriver with me for 2.5 years now, and you have never ordered anything except vanilla. Are you sure you don't want to try something new this time? Start that. I'm on fire. Well, I just got out of my seat, So start that conversation, but be specific about them. And it's even better when, like, let's say you say, how was your weekend? And they say, oh my gosh, it was great. We went canoeing. We did this. We had a grad party. But oh my gosh, by Sunday night, I couldn't move. I was so, I don't know, my back hurt so bad, blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, you know what? Your auto ship is coming out. We've always been getting the regular DFT, but if you're going to be really active like that, and of course you are, because they're a Thriver, right? They're starting to feel good. They're thriving. Why don't we try Ultra this month? Because it's really good for anti-inflammatory. So I didn't make it about the upgrade of Ultra. I made it about the issue they're having and how it can help them. That is how you help a customer and not yourself. And you guys, when I say that, I laugh because I am just as bad. I got trackers staring me in the face too that I want to fill up. But I know if I fill up a tracker just to fill it up, I'm going to gyp somebody of an actually really good Thrive experience, because I did that for probably the first 2 years that I was in business. So make sure you're reaching out to the 20th and your 25th auto shippers. And please make sure the conversation isn't, hey, you got an auto ship on Wednesday. Just wanted to remind you, because that's the perfect chance for them to say, oh, property taxes are due. If you live in Ohio, or at least Warren County, I guess it's by county, I don't know, property taxes are coming due. It's a great excuse for people to not reorder, right? So don't put it that way. Find out what they're doing in their life and find out how either Thrive can make it better, or point out how Thrive has made it better. Maybe they've gone canoeing and they told you, last year when they started that they couldn't even go up a flight of steps. Like, find out, like, make it about them. I can't say that I should just get t-shirts for Sunday night. Make it about them, make it about them. And if somebody does say, oh gosh, I'm not gonna be able to do my auto ship on the 20th. Wow, this happened or that happened, or I forgot. Thank you for telling me. Okay, when do you want to push it to? The 25th or the 5th? Again, give them options, put the decision in their hands, and let them answer your question. If you just say, oh, okay, you're going to skip a month. Well, okay, let's not offer them a month. We do auto ships all month long, and we can change that date. So remember, part of this is being a friend, and a lot of this is customer service. And then a little bit of this is being a salesperson. So you got to kind of mix that up and keep track of all that when you're having those conversations, which if you're doing them on Messenger, you have time to think about that. It's when I'm face to face and I'm like, I get a little confused. All right. So we have our auto ships. You guys, on Tuesday, wait, am I saying that right? Yeah. Tuesday is the last day for VIP, the 19th, right? Somebody nod their head and tell me I'm doing that right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Shantae. I love giving the option with the dates instead of just skipping. Yes. Yeah. We don't skip months around here. We just change our date. So VIP 400, 800, and 1600 reset ends on Tuesday, the 19th. This is also a great time for you to be looking at people who have never ordered. So we're back. This is what I was talking about earlier today. We're back in the cloud. We're still in our customers. If you've left that, log back in, get back to your My Team, get to your My Customer button. Only this time, over where, like, you're going to scroll over to where it says last order. And you just have to click that once, just one time. And it is going to pull up all of the names of the people who have created customer accounts under your promoter account who have never ordered. Some of you might be newer and you may only have 6. Some of you may be like me and have so many that I can't even count them. These people are not to be forgotten or ignored or written off or whatever the heck. There's a lot of potential there. These names are the girl that reached out to Sheila today about a sample, right? That's what these names are. When was the last time you had a conversation with some of these people? Maybe back in 2015, when Cynthia Wessler told me that she didn't want to Thrive. Have I been keeping up with her? I did for a while, but I did kind of forget about her until I just saw her name. So again, there's somebody that I should be staying in contact with. She's a mom. She's got 2 kids. Like, there's a lot going on in her life. That is a potential customer for me. And my point of you sorting it this way is, let's pretend I get a hold of Cynthia later today or tomorrow and she decides to order. She's a new customer. That's PPA volume. That goes toward your VIP reset. So you want to be talking to people who have not ever ordered all the time, obviously. But specifically, you want to be getting really focused with these people. If you haven't already, before the 19th, because you want to try to get that VIP reset. You guys, there's bonus money and it's just literally sitting there and it's just waiting to get put into your checking account. And I don't know about you, but I love when money just waits to go into my checking account. Actually, I like it better when it's in my checking account. And then on top of that, there's also credits, and credits are how you can build your business. Never, what is it, Sandra? Never underestimate the power of credits. $25 was the difference between her saying yes and her saying no. And do you know how different my life and my business would be if I didn't have Sandra Delbeck by my side in this business? It would be so crazy different. So maybe you only have enough for free shipping. Maybe you have an extra pack of DFT laying around that you got on a BOGO. Like, I bet you have something, maybe a blender bottle you picked up at TJ Maxx for $5. You have something to offer somebody to sweeten the deal, to help push them forward, which could in turn result in you getting cash bonuses and credit bonuses. So never underestimate that. Let me check my chat. Oh, okay. I thought somebody else popped in there. I want to tell you guys that we're doing a lot of trainings in Team Pages. And I love that. And I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but I feel like it's a good overwhelming. Hopefully it's a good overwhelming. So I know we've been funneling a lot of trainings into it's from boot camp. So it's our boot campers and our boot camp topics, but we're funneling them to the entire team. And I want you all to understand that's not on accident. That is because even if you're not in boot camp, we obviously want to train everybody as much as possible. Also, maybe you'll realize how great boot camp is and you should be in boot camp. Maybe you'll see these trainings and think that to yourself, right? So there's a little bit of that in there too. But one of the things that we harp on 24/7 is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm not going to go through it again, but I just want to make sure you guys know and understand that when you're doing your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it is not just to check it off the list. I've been there. I've done that. I was trying to think today, and I don't know if anybody remembers, but Sonia says, that's how I've been connecting with the leaders because of the day job. Yes. Okay. Through the trainings. Good. I like it. I used to just fill out my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to say that I did it. Like, I mean, I was doing it, but I wasn't like all in. I wasn't totally intentional. I don't know. I hope I'm not the only one here that would admit that. But I have to tell you, when you do your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 intentionally, it'll change your business. And then more importantly, when you do it consistently, and there's some extra stuff in here, but if you do it consistently, you're going to have a slew of these bad boys. That doesn't show up very well. A slew of these bad boys. So there's just names. Look at all those names. Yes. 2 new contacts yesterday, parents of boys who came to my son's birthday party. Sheila's good in person. She's good one. You're good face to face, aren't you? But the beauty of having these names written down, like, trust me, at the end of the week, I don't look at this and go, oh, and toss it. This is gold. This is who I've spoken with. This is who I need to go back and talk to. Here's, I'm just flipping back randomly because we're on here live, but June 27th, these are the people I haven't talked to since June 27th. It's been almost a month. Maybe there's somebody in there I need to follow up with. Did I make a note? Sometimes I make notes. You guys have all heard the puppy story. Sometimes I like to make notes to remind myself. And I don't know about you, but if this little number 3 wasn't staring at me, and it specifically, I write it in myself, it's up to you, but I specifically make it say reels, stories, and post. I would probably do a story, or I'd probably do a post. I probably would not be taking the time to do a reel. I'm just being honest, but it stares at me and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm asking them to do it. I got to do it too. Well, Radar's awake now, everyone. So for me, this piece of paper, it goes with me everywhere I go. I mean, and Tom knows, and he like chuckles or laughs. He'll be like, where's your binder? I'm like, oh my God, thank you. I forgot it. It's always in the bedroom. That's how romantic I am. It's always on the dining room table. It's always at the chair out here in the living room, or it's always at my desk. It's literally, I should just put like a dog leash on it. Just take it with me everywhere. But it's because it's what keeps me on point. It's what keeps me intentional with my time. And I cannot stress to you enough, if you are not, and again, you don't have to use the company one. It's there for you. It's the cloud if you want it. You can just use a piece of paper. You can just use a notebook piece of paper. It doesn't have to be that, but the goal is to keep building that keep building that pile of paper. But then don't just let it sit on the counter. Go back through that pile of paper. Who was it that I talked to in June? Who was it I talked to in May? Who was it that said, I would love a sample, or what are the conversations I had with people that I need to revisit? Because I don't know about you guys, but my brain does not hold all that. Thank God for pen and paper, because this girl can't keep all that up there. That's also why I have a calendar specifically to tell me what to do at what times, because I can't keep track of that either. But that's why it's so important. And that's why we preach over and over and over in these trainings, how to do your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're having a training tomorrow that you guys are going to get to see. It's Jamie Flint, because she works nights. She's a respiratory therapist. She actually just went back on nights, but even when she wasn't on nights, she worked, it's a very stressful job with long hours. She is a wife. She is a mother to small children. If you know Jamie, she loves music and concerts. So she's trying to get her real life in there also and do fun things. And all the while she's doing her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so she's going to talk tomorrow about how that's kept her on track, how probably a lot like me, it follows her everywhere she goes. And so she knows she has to get that done. And I will tell you also, as far as self-confidence as a promoter goes, if you do not feel confident in your position as a promoter, start doing your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 every day. And you will start to see your work and how awesome you are at doing what you've been asked to do. Because again, volume isn't the judge. We have some awesome, amazing promoters who are sitting on like a PPA of 1 right now. And then we have some new people who probably sold to their grandma, their mom, their neighbor, and their right. And that's okay. Like we all did that when we first started too. So the volume doesn't necessarily say whether you're doing your job or not. It's your activity that says if you're doing your job. And that's why we like to get together on Sundays and kind of plan out the week. So with that said, planning out your week. And I'm working a lot with my squad right now on their calendars. When you are looking at your week as a whole, like obviously I have the power plan down. I have my team Zoom tomorrow planned out. I have a squad Zoom Wednesday planned out. We have a local here locally on Thursday. I have those things written out, and that can be exciting. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much. But what else can you do? Do you have a live this week? Do you have an hour set aside where you're going to try to get some posts pre-made? Do you have 30 minutes set aside one morning when you're dressed and ready, showered, hair and makeup before work, where you can take some pictures with your product or a selfie or whatever? Like, do you have that stuff also planned out? And here's why I'm asking you about your calendar. And on the flip side, we've been talking about learning how to rest, which I struggle with, but I've been purposely resting this weekend. And here's how my brain works. I'm purposely resting because it's on my calendar, right? But then I'm like, oh, if I was making $15 an hour at Wendy's, this hour I've been sitting here in the chair relaxing, I could have made money. So it's a fine balance, but I want you to think about that. When you are spending time scrolling versus income producing activities, when you're spending time maybe out with friends who bring you down, who just want to drink and just want to complain about people, versus coming to a local where you can be uplifted and you can talk to people about your business, how you spend your time is what makes your time worth money. And if you're wasting time, you're wasting potential money. And here's the thing, I'm not all about money. Like, it's not about, being rich. It's about not having to say no to things So like if I said, let's go on a vacation, I'm like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it. We're gonna be a little short. It's gonna be cutting it tight. And then I think back to all the hours I spent doing things that wasted my time, which in turn wasted potential income. So I encourage you guys to get really specific with your calendars. Write in during the day. I'm going to work my business from 12:30 to 1 on my lunch break. I'm going to work my business from 4:30 to 5 while I'm waiting on Sally and her dance lessons, like whatever it is. But be specific and intentional with it, because then you can really dive in. So I want you guys to all either look at your calendar if you have it in front of you, or just try thinking about it. If you were to look at your weekly calendar, what are some of those things that I just mentioned that you maybe don't have planned yet, that you're like, you know what, she's right, I should do a team Zoom, or you know what, she's right, I should go to a local, or I should host a local, or I should have a virtual local, or I should do a live this week. Like, what are some of those things? And I want you to look at, like, think about it and write it in your calendar. Sandra says, I did too much today, but I've been in bed since 6:30. Rest is important, but hard sometimes, but we all must. Yeah, you got to heal, girl. You got metal in your body now. You're bionic. It's very important that you rest. So I want you to think about that. And then when you look at like your Monday calendar, like, so most of us have probably looked at peaked at least at our Monday calendar. And it's very tempting to be like, what's a Monday? I get up, I get dressed, I eat breakfast, I go to work, I come home. Okay, cool. That's true. That's good. But what are you doing on the drive to work? Are you listening to the radio, which is great, but could you maybe be listening to a podcast, or could you be listening to a training that you maybe missed? What are you doing on your lunch break? Are you sitting at your desk, like still kind of working while you're eating, or could you go to a quiet spot and have some downtime, clear your mind, maybe send out some messages? You know, like there are pockets of time in our day. We all have pockets of time, but just because you have them doesn't mean you're using them. So you got to find those pockets, and you have to dedicate the time to use it for your business. And I would encourage you to do that during the day, so that when you do come home and you do make dinner, maybe, or you do settle down on the couch, you can relax and enjoy it and not feel like, oh gosh, I didn't get my work done today. I know I like to get up and do my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 early. And actually, for those of you that were at the retreat with us, just so you know, Lisa Cook did get up at 5 a.m. for 2 days in a row and send me my quote to let me know she was working. And she said it felt great, but then the poor thing got sick. So I told her to take a few days to rest and not worry about that. But that was like something that was bothering her when she got home at night. She felt like she wanted to spend time with her husband, but she was like, gosh, I need to also do my work. And so she was torn. And I was like, well, what if you get up a little earlier? Does he care if you get up early and work on it? Nope. And so for 2 days, she did it, and she said it felt amazing. So I encourage you, if you're struggling at night, get up early. If you're struggling in the morning, stay up a little later. If you're struggling all over the day, really get nitty gritty about how you spend your time and see what you could be cutting out. And I'm not telling you to cut out anything that is important to you. However, if you look at me and say, I really want to build this business, but I watch Chicago Fire after Chicago Med, after Chicago, whatever it is, Tom does this every Wednesday night, and that you got to do that. Okay, that's 3 hours of your life. So how bad do you want to build this business? Like, I'm not asking you to miss your mom's birthday party or your kid's recital. I'm not saying that. But there are things that we all do during the day. And mine is I scroll. I'm a bad scroller. Like, I have to stop myself from scrolling all the time. What are the things you're doing? And I think if you actually took the time to write the things you do on your calendar, you'd be surprised. You'd be like, oh crap. I do every Monday I watch, I don't watch a lot of TV. So I won't get the names right, but every Monday I'm watching Bachelor. Every Tuesday I like to get my Netflix hit for whatever the thing is. Every Wednesday, if you really start looking at the things that you do on a regular basis, you will see, oh, yep, there's some stuff I could probably be cutting out. Or you guys make it a game. Do shows have commercials? Like, commercials still happen on TV, right? Work during the commercials. You can literally sit there with your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on your phone, ready. Commercial time, break. Sandra did a challenge with me one time. We timed each other. How many reach outs could we do in a certain amount of time? And let me tell you, when you're on a timer, you'll be shocked how many reach outs you can get done. So make it a game. Maybe it's your kid's favorite show and you don't want to miss it. I get it, but you have to make the commitment. So this week, I want to challenge you to get really specific with your calendar. Sonny said, I stopped with TV because my life revolved around TV dramas and I didn't even want to go out. Yes. Girl, I have a girlfriend who I had to explain to her one day that the girl she was so upset about was a TV character. Like she was so upset about this show and like something that happened and she couldn't believe it happened. And I was like, you do know it's fake, right? So I get it. Like it has a way of sucking people in. But you just have to decide what you want to do. I would rather get sucked away on an airplane to some beach somewhere. So it's just priorities. It's how you want to spend your time, but you have to identify it. And I'm telling you, if you get really specific with your weekly calendar and then your daily calendar, and you guys have all heard my calendar talk before. I know I'm a little crazy with mine, but it's what keeps me on task. It's what allows me to do the things I want to do. So that's my challenge for you this week. Really start paying attention to how you're using your time. Maybe even during the day, like if if you're at work, you're at work, but then on your lunch break, you're like, oh, you know what? I scrolled Instagram for 15 minutes because I went to do a birthday reach out, but Instagram had a notification and I clicked that button. Write it down, just write it down. And then just you'll start catching yourself. And I mean, what is it's like when someone's an alcoholic, like the first step is admitting it, right? You may need to see it. You may need to see what's happening so you can now admit, okay, because I admit it, I'm a scroller. The scenario I just gave you, I have literally picked up my phone to do birthday reach outs before, and then 30 minutes later, been like, I don't even know why I'm on my phone. But I just saw a dog do something on TikTok. So I know it about myself. I admit it. And that is why I try to work my calendar so hard. So that's my challenge to you guys. Because let me tell you, when you work your calendar, you will have no trouble filling up your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. None. You'll be doing 10. You'll be doing 20. You will be filling this up to the max. You will be doing your follow-ups because you have time for it. You'll be making your reels, even if you're not crazy about it, because you have time for it. You'll be writing posts because you have allotted time for it. So just how you allotted time to be on this Zoom tonight, I'm asking you to go through your list of what you want to accomplish this week. And clearly the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is going to be the biggest part of that. Break it down. What time on Monday am I doing my reach outs? What time am I doing my follow-ups? When am I going to do my first social media post? When am I going to do my first story? And just start popping it in there. I mean, if you're like me, you start with your capsules for your first story of the day. And a lot of times I do them in the morning, but a lot of times I do them at night before I go to bed. That way it's ready to go and I don't have to think about it. So while I'm brushing my teeth with one hand, I can just click the buttons on my phone with the other and post it, or post your story, whatever. So get real specific and I promise it's going to make a difference. So anyway, sorry, I got a little preachy earlier, but it just sometimes happens. This is recorded. I will put it up on the YouTube if you need it, or you want to share it with your team, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye.